How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have some breaking news to cover as the LA Valiant have decided to trade Fate to the Florida Mayhem for Shax, Fact Fiction, and McGravy. Before I give my thoughts on this massive bombshell of a trade, let me just quickly read out all the social media posts made by both the Valiant and the Florida Mayhem. Starting with the Valiant, here's the first tweet they made. Thank you, Fate, for always going #wings out for us. We know you're going to bring the mayhem for the Florida Mayhem. Good luck, have fun. Read more here at val.gg/trade. And when you click on the link, you get a really interesting article. It's short and to the point, so I'm going to read it out super quick for you guys. The Los Angeles Valiant acquired McGravy from the Florida Mayhem, Fact Fiction, and Shax from Mayhem Academy in exchange for Fate. Fate's contributions to the organization go beyond the Overwatch League, said GM Michael Schwartz. As one of the original Immortals players to make the transition to the Valiant, he played a key role not only in the team's inaugural season success in OWL, but also as Immortals captured the Overwatch Contender Season 0 title. We thank him for all that he has given to the organization. McGravy joins the Valiant in the flex tank role. Prior signing with the Florida Mayhem for Season 2 of the Overwatch League, the Illinois native was announced on the initial Team USA roster for the 2018 Overwatch World Cup. He is expected to back up current flex tank space in addition to flexing to other roles. Fact Fiction assumes the role as main tank for the Valiant. The 25-year-old played the same role for the Houston Outlaws in the inaugural season of the Overwatch League before joining the Mayhem Academy in the offseason. The addition of Shax to the roster further deepens the Valiant's pool of DPS talent. The Dane helped his country to 3rd place in the 2018 Overwatch World Cup qualifiers in Thailand, and then later signed with Mayhem Academy. As for the welcoming of their new players, here's what the Valiant had to say. We've got some big news, Sevens. Give a huge Vala welcome to the newest members of our roster, Fact Fiction, McGravy, and Shax. We are lucky to have you. Welcome home. Stage 3, here we come. Now let's look at this from Florida's point of view. So the first thing they had to say was, we're very excited to add Fate's veteran leadership and star talent to the Mayhem. We can't wait to watch him bring the mayhem for the second half of the season and in the future. They also had a short little news thing to talk about, so let's quickly just take a look at that. Today, the Florida Mayhem are excited to announce our trade with the LA Valiant with the acquisition of Fate for McGravy, Fact Fiction, and Shax. When we announced our transition before Stage 2 to an all-Korean roster, we knew that meant a lot of changes to the Mayhem. We also knew back then, and still today, that this transition would take a little more time for us to fully realize those benefits, but we firmly believe and are dedicated to that process. We are grateful to our departing players for their time and dedication to our organization, and are thrilled we were able to find them great landing spots with the Valiant. Today is another giant step forward in the commitment to our fans and our new direction with the acquisition of Fate. He has proven himself in Contenders, Overwatch League, and helped bring Korea another World Cup last year. We cannot wait for him to join the team ahead of Stage 3 and the years to come with his veteran leadership and talent. Here's what Florida had to say about the players they traded away. Starting off with McGravy, farewell and thank you, McGrave Eat. Best of luck with the Valiant. And here's what they had to say about Shax and Fact Fiction. Time to level up, Shax and Fact Fiction. You'll always be part of our Mayhem family. Thank you for an incredible Contenders run and best of luck with the Valiant. And there you go. That's all the official stuff. So now let me give my thoughts on all of this because, oh man, I have a lot to say. So first things first, let me just say as an LA Valiant fan, thank you so much, Fate, for everything you've done. Seriously, you were amazing, dude. It's really sad to see you go. Last year for the Valiant, he was an absolute god, one of the best main tanks in the league. He also helped South Korea win the World Cup, as we just talked about before in the article, but he hasn't exactly been playing all that well lately, so maybe this wasn't a horrible trade for the Valiant. I wish that they got someone a little bit better than Fact Fiction in return. No disrespect to him, but there definitely are better main tanks out there. But you never know. He could end up being a decent replacement. Maybe he's what the Valiant needed. They also do have Kuki. You have to remember that he might transition back into the main tank position because clearly main support did not work out for him. I do like the addition of McGravy, although I will admit it is a little bit confusing as to why they decided to get him since they already have space. Maybe they plan on trading space. That could be a thing that happens in the future. Or maybe they think McGravy's better. I don't know what the Valiant are thinking here, but McGravy still is a good player nonetheless. And finally, the other thing they did was pick up Shax, and honestly, I don't know anything about this guy. I haven't really watched much Contenders, I will admit that, but having more DPS isn't a horrible thing because I think their DPS situation is a little bit rough because it's clear that Kariv is going back to flex support as of right now. He's no longer at the DPS slot, so now they only really have KSF and Bunny and then agilities, of course, so getting another option is never a bad thing. It's hard to say who won this trade if I'm going to be honest. I think both teams kind of won it in a way because the Valiant got 3 new players, but then also the Mayhem got a major upgrade at main tank. I know Fate hasn't been what he used to be, but I think with time he might be able to get back up to that form we saw during Season 1 and in the World Cup. The next idea we have to ask ourselves is why the heck did the Valiant decide to trade away Fate? I think it's one of two options most likely. One is that Fate just wasn't happy with the direction of the team and he wanted to be traded. The other is that the Valiant didn't like what was going on with Fate. Maybe he was toxic, or perhaps they just didn't like his performances in games, so they're like, hey, we want a new main tank. Let's just get Fact Fiction and then a couple of other good players in return because we know the Mayhem are interested in Fate. This could only be the beginning actually of the Valiant's big time moves. Perhaps they don't want to have any Koreans on the roster anymore and they want to go more Western, so we could see guys like Kariv, Izayaki, Taki, Bunny, and Kuki all be on their way out as well. Or perhaps they want to trade Space. As I mentioned before, they did get McGravy, and perhaps they see him as a better player than Space, or maybe Space is toxic, or he wants to be traded too. Who knows? I don't want to assume anything just yet because maybe the Valiant end up benefiting from this trade, but I'm thinking that maybe they decided to throw in the towel. Perhaps they know they're not good enough and they want to rebuild during the offseason through more trades and of course during free agency. That's all I have to say about the Valiant. So now we have to talk about the Florida Mayhem because there are 2 points of view to every single trade. And let me just start off by saying this was a great trade for these guys. Florida traded away 3 players who don't impact their lineup in the slightest. All 3 of these guys spoke English, and that doesn't matter at all for Florida right now because they decided to transition into a full Korean team. Also, 2 of those guys didn't even play on the Overwatch League stage because they were in contenders. This was a really good deal for Florida. You got a really good main tank in return, and it definitely helps fix that situation a lot because Swan was pretty underwhelming. But unfortunately for the Mayhem, they still do have a long way to go. They basically need to upgrade all of their other positions except for main tank still. But if you're a Florida fan, you should be pretty pleased right now. This is the first upgrade you need to make in order to take more steps toward being a decent team that nobody laughs at. Welp, that's basically everything I have to say about this trade, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy, and make sure to subscribe if you're new so you can keep up with all the latest Overwatch League news and discussions. Don't forget to let me know what you think of this trade down in the comment section, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.